The offseason is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing periods for the New York Yankees in recent memory, and there's a lot for fans to digest as the team navigates uncertainty across multiple positions. It hasn't exactly been a smooth ride lately, with the past few months bringing more questions than answers about the roster and its long-term direction. The Yankees went from looking dominant and highly structured to suddenly facing a patchwork of underperformance and roster instability, and that has only intensified speculation about what comes next. One of the positions that has been quietly drawing attention is catcher, a spot that, on the surface, may not appear to be the team's most pressing need, but in reality, the dynamics there are far more complex than they seem. For years, the Yankees have had to balance performance, potential, and long-term planning, and now, with some young players showing promise and others struggling to reach expectations, the catcher position could become a pivotal decision point for the front office. It's not just about who hits and who fields. It's about establishing a player who can provide consistency and stability over several seasons. And that's not a simple task in today's MLB landscape. One of the most talked about names in recent trade discussions has been Adley Rutschman, who for years was considered the cornerstone of the catching position for his previous team. Rutschman came into the league with immense expectations and quickly became known as a top-tier offensive catcher, the kind of player who could change the dynamics of a lineup while handling pitching staffs with competence. Early in his career, he delivered on those expectations, earning all-star honors and producing numbers that made him a centerpiece of any roster. He was the kind of player you could build around, a rare combination of defensive skill and offensive capability, which is why his name being floated in trade discussions has created so much buzz. However, the last season and parts of the current one have raised questions about whether Rutschman can maintain that level of performance. His batting average has dipped, his power numbers are down, and his on-base plus slugging figures have not matched his career norms. Observers have pointed to injuries and inconsistency as factors, and while he remains a talented player, there's a growing debate about whether he can return to the elite form that once defined his reputation. That said, the Yankees are a team that thrives on taking calculated risks, and adding a player like Rutschman could address multiple needs simultaneously, improving the offense from the catcher position and providing a veteran presence to mentor younger players. Speaking of younger players, the Yankees have a few intriguing prospects who could impact the catching conversation. There's been discussion about Austin Wells, a young catcher who has shown flashes of potential but has struggled with consistency at the major league level. Wells has talent, but the question remains whether he is ready to handle a full-time role and whether his development can continue under the pressures of a high-stakes market like New York. Meanwhile, Ben Rice has been impressive in stretches, posting strong numbers in the latter part of the season and demonstrating that he can handle big moments. But questions about his long-term fit in the lineup persist. The Yankees will need to weigh the benefits of developing internal talent against the certainty of acquiring a proven player like Rutschman, and that's where the real complexity begins. Beyond catching, the Yankees have pressing needs in other areas as well. Shortstop has emerged as a glaring concern. Anthony Volpe has shown promise, but he is not considered the definitive answer at the position, and the team may have to explore other options to secure a reliable long-term solution. The bullpen, despite several improvements, remains a work in progress. Injuries, fluctuating performance, and uncertainty about which arms can be counted on consistently make pitching another area where the Yankees must make careful off-season decisions. Each move in the off-season has a ripple effect, influencing not just the lineup but also defensive alignment, pitching rotations, and overall roster construction. When you consider the Yankee situation, it's clear that this offseason is more than just about filling a single position. It's about building a coherent strategy that accounts for both immediate competitiveness and sustainable success. Every decision, from whether to pursue a high-profile trade to how to allocate playing time among promising youngsters, carries weight. The management team has to consider multiple scenarios: how players will coexist, how injuries might impact the roster, and how new acquisitions will fit within the team culture. The stakes are particularly high in New York, where fans and media scrutiny add an extra layer of pressure to every move. The catcher debate in particular, illustrates how interconnected all these decisions are. Bringing in a player like Ruttman could stabilize the position and provide a reliable bat, but it also impacts where other players are placed and who gets development opportunities. Should Wells be given more time to adjust, or is it better to lean on a proven veteran? Should Rice be shifted to another position to optimize his bat, or is his value maximized behind the plate? And how does this affect other areas like first base or the outfield, where positional flexibility may be necessary, depending on injuries or strategic considerations? Each of these questions requires careful analysis, and the answers are not always straightforward. Another complicating factor is the uncertainty surrounding the managerial position. While Aaron Boone has led the team in recent years, there is speculation about whether he will continue in that role. A new manager brings a fresh perspective, potentially altering how the front office approaches acquisitions and player development. Managerial philosophy can influence decisions about playing time, defensive alignment, and even which players are prioritized in trades or signings. This means that off-season strategy cannot be planned in isolation. It must account for potential leadership changes and how those changes might impact the trajectory of the team. Ultimately, the Yankees face a multifaceted challenge this offseason. They need to address positions of need, evaluate talent both in-house and on the trade market, and make strategic decisions that balance immediate performance with long-term growth. Every choice is interrelated, and the organization must navigate these complexities while maintaining a competitive edge. With so many moving parts, from catching to shortstop to pitching, the path forward requires careful planning, decisive action, and a willingness to embrace both opportunity and risk. Turning back to the infield, shortstop remains the team's most pressing concern. Anthony Volpe has shown flashes of brilliance, but his inconsistency leaves the Yankees searching for a long-term solution. Free agency offers limited options, and while names like Bo Bichette provide potential solutions, acquiring such talent often requires a significant financial commitment or a trade package that impacts multiple areas of the roster. The organization must weigh the value of securing a proven player against the potential cost and prospects, payroll flexibility, and team chemistry. The pressure to make the correct choice is immense, given that the shortstop position is both defensively crucial and influential in shaping the lineup's overall offensive output. Pitching, too, cannot be overlooked. While the Yankees have made efforts to bolster the bullpen and starting rotation, injuries and inconsistent performance have created uncertainty. Garrett Cole's health and effectiveness are particularly critical, as his presence or absence significantly affects both the rotation and bullpen configuration. Young arms like Will Warren and Cam Shielder show promise, but relying on prospects to fill key roles is always a gamble. The Yankees' ability to balance proven veterans with emerging talent will define not just the coming season, but the trajectory of the pitching staff for years to come. The interplay between offense and defense is another layer of complexity. Adding a player like Ruttman, or even adjusting roles for Wells and Rice, impacts not just the catching position, but how the team approaches matchups, lineup construction, and situational play. A switch-hitting catcher like Ruttman offers strategic flexibility, potentially allowing the manager to optimize platoons and pinch-hitting opportunities. Conversely, relying on left-handed hitters exclusively in certain roles may limit options in late-game situations, making it critical to consider both immediate production and adaptability over the long term. Managerial decisions are, of course, central to all of this. The uncertainty surrounding Aaron Boone's future adds another wrinkle to the Yankees' offseason planning. Whether Boone remains or a new manager is brought in, their philosophy on development, player usage, and risk tolerance will shape key personnel decisions. A manager who values youth development may lean heavily on Wells or other minor league prospects, while a manager focused on immediate results might prioritize veterans with proven track records like Ruttman or Bellinger. This makes the front office's job even more complex, as they must plan not just for the roster as it stands today, but also for the leadership that will guide it into the future. Beyond individual positions, team chemistry and clubhouse dynamics are also factors that cannot be ignored. Bringing in a high-profile player can shift the culture in both positive and negative ways. Ruttman's experience and early career success suggest he could provide leadership and mentoring, particularly to younger players struggling to find consistency. At the same time, integrating new players requires careful management to avoid disrupting cohesion, particularly when multiple players are competing for the same role. The Yankees have historically managed high-pressure environments well, but the stakes are elevated in a roster that blends veterans with rising stars under intense media and fan scrutiny. Contract considerations are another layer of complexity. Securing long-term deals for key players like Ruttman, or even evaluating the cost-benefit of retaining someone like Bellinger, involves not just the financial implications, but also strategic flexibility for future seasons. Committing significant payroll to one player may limit the team's ability to pursue other needs, such as a starting shortstop, bullpen reinforcements, or additional outfield depth. Conversely, holding back from major commitments could leave critical positions vulnerable, creating a delicate balancing act that requires careful forecasting and risk assessment. The Yankees' approach to player development also comes into play. Internal prospects like Wells, Rice, and others represent potential long-term solutions, but relying on their development requires patience, consistent coaching, and strategic playing time. Every decision about how much to invest in young talent versus acquiring established players has long-term implications, not just for performance, but for morale and the perception of the organization's commitment to nurturing homegrown talent. This is particularly relevant in a franchise like the Yankees, where history, expectation, and fan scrutiny heighten the impact of every move. The interconnected nature of these decisions makes the offseason particularly fascinating. Catcher, shortstop, outfield, first base, bullpen, rotation. Each area affects the others. A decision in one position can ripple across the roster, influencing everything from defensive alignment to offensive strategy to how players are positioned in high-leverage situations. The Yankees front office must navigate this complex web of considerations while keeping an eye on the broader goal, fielding a team capable of contending immediately while laying the foundation for sustained success. Trade possibilities, free agent signings, internal promotions, and managerial philosophy all converge to create a high-stakes environment where every choice matters. Even minor adjustments like optimizing the platoon of a catcher or deciding between two young prospects can have outsized effects when accumulated across the entire roster. The Yankees must approach these decisions with a combination of analytical rigor, scouting insight, and strategic vision, ensuring that each move aligns with the overall blueprint for long-term competitiveness. Ultimately, the offseason represents a crossroads. The Yankees have the opportunity to solidify key positions, integrate emerging talent, and address gaps that have persisted in recent seasons. Whether through acquiring a proven player like Ruttman, developing promising prospects like Wells or Rice, or making strategic adjustments across multiple positions, the organization has the tools and flexibility to make meaningful improvements. The choices made in the coming months will shape not just the next season, but the identity and trajectory of the franchise for years to come. As fans, it's a period of anticipation, speculation, and careful observation. Every rumor, trade discussion, and signing carries significance, and the decisions made now will be analyzed and dissected for seasons to come. The Yankees' ability to navigate this intricate web of player evaluation, positional need, managerial influence, and long-term planning will determine whether they emerge stronger, more balanced, and capable of contending for championships, or whether uncertainty and inconsistency will continue to define their path forward. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. In a stunning development that has sent shockwaves through the baseball world, the New York Yankees have reportedly agreed to trade star infielder DJ LeMahieu for a top-tier elite pitcher, fueling rumors that the Yankees are ready to reshape their roster in a major way. Sources close to the team suggest that discussions have been ongoing for weeks, with front office executives working behind closed doors to finalize a deal that could redefine the balance of power in Major League Baseball. Fans and analysts alike are buzzing with speculation about the identity of the pitcher involved, with whispers circulating that it could be someone capable of dominating lineups across both leagues. The Yankees, traditionally known for their aggressive pursuit of championships, appear to be prioritizing pitching depth over infield stability, a move that some see as audacious and others view as a risky gamble that could pay off in the short term, but may have long-term ramifications for the roster. Social media is ablaze with commentary, and the trade, while not yet officially confirmed, is already being dissected in detail, with pundits offering predictions about how this could impact the Yankees' lineup, clubhouse dynamics, and overall strategy for the upcoming season. The notion that a player of LeMahieu's caliber could be moved for pitching alone underscores the high stakes and ambition that drive this franchise. Insiders indicate that DJ LeMahieu, who has long been considered a cornerstone of the Yankees' infield, may be departing at a moment when he is still performing at an elite level, which adds a layer of intrigue to the rumor. Analysts point out that his consistency, both at the plate and in the field, has made him one of the most reliable and versatile players in the league, and losing him would represent a significant shift in the team's core identity. Discussions about the potential return from the trade suggest that the Yankees are targeting a pitcher with not only a dominant fastball, but also a mix of breaking pitches and an advanced understanding of hitters, someone who could immediately slot into a rotation and influence playoff outcomes. The speculation has created a fevered atmosphere among fans, who are torn between excitement for the potential of acquiring a top-tier arm and concern about sacrificing one of the franchise's most productive and intelligent hitters. Sources hint that the front office is weighing statistical models, injury histories, and long-term projections in their decision-making, demonstrating the complex calculus behind such a blockbuster deal. As rumors swirl, the media landscape is saturated with analysis, debates, and hot takes, each trying to predict whether this transaction, if completed, will solidify the Yankees as a dynasty contender or introduce unforeseen vulnerabilities into a team already balancing high expectations and scrutiny. The trade buzz has also sparked conversations about team dynamics and the psychological impact on both players and fans, as LeMahieu's leadership in the clubhouse is frequently highlighted as a stabilizing force for the team. Observers note that beyond his technical contributions, his work ethic, experience, and mentorship of younger players have been invaluable, and any move removing him from the roster could create ripple effects that extend far beyond the field. Meanwhile, speculation regarding the elite pitcher being discussed points toward a player who has a history of dominating high-pressure situations, someone whose arrival could immediately enhance the Yankees' postseason potential. Sources claim that scouting reports, advanced metrics, and internal assessments have all been carefully considered, suggesting that this is not a spontaneous decision, but a meticulously orchestrated maneuver intended to maximize competitive advantage. Despite the excitement surrounding the rumored trade, skeptics caution that integrating a new elite pitcher into the rotation is not without risks, as adaptation to a new league, coaching staff, and environment can impact performance unpredictably. Nevertheless, the energy surrounding this story has turned into a national conversation, with fans dissecting every tweet, rumor, and insider leak, generating a sense of anticipation that only intensifies with each passing day. The Yankees' willingness to contemplate such a significant roster adjustment signals an organization poised to make bold moves in pursuit of championship aspirations, keeping the baseball world on edge. Financial considerations also seem to be at the center of this rumored blockbuster, as the Yankees would need to navigate contracts, salaries, and luxury tax implications when acquiring an elite pitcher in exchange for DJ LeMahieu. Insiders suggest that negotiations are likely complex, balancing long-term financial flexibility with immediate performance impact, as front office executives aim to ensure that the trade strengthens the team without jeopardizing future opportunities for signings or extensions. Analysts point out that LeMahieu's current contract, performance incentives, and potential opt-out clauses add layers of complication that must be carefully navigated to avoid unintended consequences. Meanwhile, The potential acquisition of a high-end pitcher could dramatically shift payroll priorities, with the organization needing to account for luxury tax thresholds, bonus structures, and roster composition to maintain strategic balance. The rumor, whether true or partially exaggerated, has ignited discussions across sports networks and podcasts, with speculation about how such a trade could influence other franchises, trigger a domino effect in the free agent market, and alter the competitive landscape of the league. For fans, this situation has transformed into a real-time soap opera of baseball strategy, blending numbers, narratives, and personalities into a storyline that captures the imagination of anyone following the Yankees closely. The intersection of performance, finance, and roster management highlights the intricacies and high stakes involved in modern baseball decision-making, offering a behind-the-scenes glimpse at how blockbuster trades are contemplated and potentially executed. Finally, the cultural impact of this rumored trade cannot be overstated, as DJ LeMahieu has become not only a vital component of the Yankees' on-field success, but also a recognizable face in the media and community engagements, making the possibility of his departure emotionally charged for fans. Rumors suggest that if the trade materializes, it could redefine fan expectations, alter team marketing strategies, and generate renewed attention from both traditional media outlets and social platforms. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.